What is up, fam? Here I am again doing another video for you guys. Today's topic is going to be how to train, eat to get lean but not bulky. I hear a lot of that, you know, when clients sign up to train with me, it's almost like the first words out of their mouth is like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, but I want to get lean, but I don't want to get bulky. And there's a lot that goes into this concept of being bulky. The main gist of it is that when people see someone that they don't want to look like because they're bulky, it's usually a person that probably looks like me, but maybe isn't as lean. Because what happens is, for example, like if a person wants to train to gain muscle, but they're lifting heavy, they're lifting for hypertrophy, and they're pushing themselves in the gym to gain muscle, but they're not losing fat, as in dieting under their calorie needs, you know, like being in a deficit to lose fat, or they're not doing cardio, essentially like, you know, like trying to get the fat off, then they're gonna gain muscle, of course, but they're really not gonna lose fat. So then what happens is you have this layer of fat, and underneath you have a layer of muscle. So it's not, you know, girls are not gonna get bulky just by lifting weights. That doesn't happen. We have a lot less testosterone than men, so it's just not possible to lift and get bulky unless your diet is just not there. And it's not, at that point, it's not because of your lifting, it's because of your dieting. So that said, I've made a list of topics because I understand what I've changed. I've done so many different training splits and programs and tried tons of different things. And I do understand the concept of, there's sometimes when you lift and it's like, you're not really getting that leaner, longer toned muscle look. You're getting that, it's almost like, I notice it the most in my legs. There's certain types of leg training that will make my legs look huge, and it could honestly be just because I'm lifting those types of exercises cause more water retention and soreness afterwards, so that could be an effect of it. But I do understand the concept of, okay, like when someone says that, I know what they're talking about. Now you need to learn what works with your body. Some people can do powerlifting and get really lean, toned, and tight and bulky. Some people have to eat more when they're powerlifting, and then, you know, they end up getting this bulkier look. But again, it's not the training, it's the diet. Don't be afraid to lift weights. That's what I have to say. Lifting weights will not make you bulky, it's your diet. Genetics. Genetics play a key role. Some people will build huge legs without even having to work out their legs. Like, I know tons of girls in the bikini world, they can't lift their legs because if not, it gets too big for bikini. So you need to know your body. You need to understand the genetics behind it. You might be born with like really big shoulders and like you never have to do a shoulder exercise. I know tons of girls that can't lift arms because they just naturally, just from like lifting other body parts, that's working their muscles enough. So know your body, the genetics, and the only way you're really gonna do that is by trial and error. You just have to go in there, lift, and see what happens. With that said, if you find yourself lifting and you're like, well, my legs are just getting so big, you need to mix it up. You need to try different workout styles. So if you're powerlifting and, you know, you're doing it for looks, for aesthetics, powerlifting is not really an aesthetic type of sport. It's more of like a strength sport. It's gaining, you know, numbers on that overall PR goal and stuff. So change up your training style if you're not seeing the kind of results that you want to see. For me personally, I know that doing plyometric type work, high volume sets for legs especially, gives me really great results. My legs get leaner and tighter. When I start lifting heavier, and I focus on like the compound movements, leg press, squats, the big ones, and I'm lifting heavy with smaller amount of reps, my legs get huge, and I don't like that. I really, really don't. So I've been switching it up recently and doing like lots of plyometric work, incorporating plyometric work in between my lifts. I'll still do I don't really squat, but like the deadlifts and leg press and stuff, but I'm doing higher volume, less reps, training for hypertrophy, and I've noticed that my legs have just gotten tighter and more defined. Another big thing, people think, and this is why the misconception of eating protein will make you bulky. It will not make you bulky. Here's what happens. A certain individual who's eating a regular diet, they literally not tracking, just whatever, going to the gym, they decide that they want to get lean, toned, and tight. So they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna eat protein. I'm gonna eat protein powder, protein bars. So they keep their diet exactly the same, and then on top of that, they start throwing in these protein supplements. You're then overeating. It's the same thing. If you overeat donuts or if you overeat protein, the same thing will happen. Your body will store that stuff as fat. So you need to analyze your diet, and you don't have to track macros. You can eat intuitively, but track what you're eating, and if it's not working, then change things up. Incorporating a higher protein diet will definitely help you lean down, but then you also need to cut out the fats and the carbs a little bit so that you're not overeating your total calorie intake, if that makes sense. Stay away from diet foods. Anything that says diet, fat-free, just stay away. In order for those things to say diet, fat-free, whatever it is that they do to them, they have to go through they're processed. So they have other chemicals. They have other, if they're low fat, then usually they add more sugar to it. So then you'll notice that like the sugar content is higher. So anything that says diet and stuff, just stay away from that stuff. If you focus on eating clean, whole, unprocessed foods for like 85% of your diet, that's it. That's all you need to know. Now, having these diet and fat-free foods and whatever is fine, but don't base your entire diet on that. Another thing, and this goes with basically almost everything, rule of life, drink your water, stay hydrated. I like to tell people 3 liters minimum per day. I drink a gallon and a half every single day. Plain and simple, drink your water. And one of the most important rules of trying to get lean, toned, tight, weight loss, whatever, is to manage your stress levels. Stress levels will totally affect your weight loss. You could diet and train perfectly, but if you're really stressed or you hate your body, you really want to lose the fat and you're just not relaxed about it in your mind, you won't lose weight. Your body will hang on to that fat for dear life. Hormones play a key role, and when you're stressed, your hormones go out of whack. That said, you must keep the stress levels down. Just enjoy the journey, enjoy the entire process, and don't stress too much over it. Those are my main tips right there for getting lean, not bulky, getting that lean, defined muscle where you're not like, you're feeling like, I get it mostly in my legs. That's like when I start to feel bulky. That's where I get the most of when I feel bulky, it's usually in my legs, and it's because of the training I'm doing and my diet. So, lesson from this whole video, the main lesson you need to know is that it's not about your training. 95% of the time it's not about your training, it's about your diet. So check your diet and then change your training sessions up here and there, see what works for you. That's it for today. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Make sure to subscribe and thumbs up. I'll catch you guys in the next one.